find are horses that race in the Kentucky Derby, race in the Preakness, and race in the Belmont Stakes. They're 3 years old, and now they're thrown in with older horses who perhaps raced in the Kentucky Derby when they were 3, but now they're racing in what's called the handicap elite section of horse racing. So it's a mixture. And this one is being held in Santa Anita, which is just east of Los Angeles, right on the San Gabriel Mountains. And you're a Southern California guy, so you probably know where that is, even though you're closer to San Diego.
Beautiful area.
But the interesting thing is that you're getting horses now shipping in from New York and Kentucky and trying to do battle with horses that are used to training on that track, that are the hometown horses.
So the crazy thing about the Breeders' Cup, Jim, is that it's really not just one specific race. You're talking about a full day of racing.
It's 2 days of racing. And
wow.
That's why we all get together at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut. And my customer base comes out, 40 strong. And we have seminars, and then what we do, Andrew, is we pool our money. So if we come up with a pick six ticket, let's say that costs $5,000, that's pretty daunting,
right, to
a lot of people, and they can't come up with that kind of bankroll. But when you have 40 people taking various percentages,
sure,
even a 10% bet of that is only $500,
right?
And we break it down even further. So for $250 or $100, you can be in the action. And if you get a couple long shots, the payoff can get into $500,000-$600,000. So that's where, yeah.
Can the rookie novice guy like myself show up to this event in Connecticut?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, you would want to call me first and register.
I would assume.
You can come, and that would be a great way for somebody who just wants to have some action and learn a little bit. Bring your bankroll, and we will tell you what we're playing as a group, and you'll be part of it, and we'll tell you what to root for. Now, I do this with my friends during the Derby and the Preakness and your dad has been in some of those cartels.
Yes, he has.
And there was one time a few years ago in the Belmont Stakes where we had literally the only possible winning ticket that would have paid something like $600,000-$700,000 in the whole country.
Wow.
And our horse got nosed at the wire. It got nosed. So that's how close we came to that one.
And I know that in your history as friends, you guys have had a lot of fun in the horse racing realm together.
Right. Your dad and I actually owned a few horses.
Yes, absolutely.
Which I liken to owning a yacht. It's like a black hole when you own them.
Yeah, it's got to be
much rather
taken care of.
Take the money and bet on them.
Yeah,
so.
I like that. Well, then now, so when you put out your information on the Breeders' Cup for this example, okay, do you give favorites too for like each specific 14 race, or is it you do favorites in the 6-pick bet, or is it literally everything you could possibly bet? We'll give you numbers on that they could possibly bet.
Yeah, I do it. I have several different analyses that come out for this particular event. One of them doesn't tell the bettor who to bet, what number to bet, or anything like that. It simply takes, let's say, 12 horses in a field, and I will tell them the horses that match up to previous winners. We call that the crushing zone. So there might be 3 horses that when I look at all the different possibilities, they stand out among the rest. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but they're the best match that we can find based on what they've done in their career to what has been done to previously win the race. So that's one product. Then there's another product where I actually give a selection in each race, and I will do that in 2 ways. I will give a horse that is most likely to win, and that most likely will be one of the favorites. Doesn't always have to be, but it's going to be a horse that's on pretty much all the people's radar, and they're betting it. Then I will give what's called a value play, and that might be a horse who's 6 or 7 to 1 that I think falls into that category of the crushing zone, but he's not being played or she's not being played for one reason or another. So that's one. And then I will give a couple long shots, and that's where we're hoping I'm right. Because if you can catch a horse that pays $40 or $50 and the favorite runs second, maybe you catch an exacta that pays $400 or $500, that's when you can really crush the cup. So that's the menu that I put out there for people, and then they can. Some of them, it's like Home Depot. Some of them like to get the information and do it themselves. You know, they'll use that one analysis, and others, they just simply don't have the time or the wherewithal, and they want answers. They want to know who's your top 3 players in this race, that kind of thing.
Can we order from that menu now, or do we have to wait until your third and fourth day?
No. If they go to my website, they can pick up Breeders' Cup. They would have to. It's just like eBay or Amazon. You set up your own account,
right?
And then you go to the orders section and Breeders' Cup, and you would order probably BC selections is what I would recommend for anybody that's out there that just wants answers, because most of them, are not going to be sophisticated horse players that have been in my database for a long time. They want to have a good time. So,
sure.
And anybody that's in the earshot of Connecticut that wants to drive up to the Mohegan Sun and spend the weekend with us, I think there's even a few discounted rooms available. And if anybody's interested in that in the Romo Sapien world, they can call my number, 800-272-8039, and I'll get them signed up, and we'll entertain them all weekend. We'll take some of their money and try to turn it into a small fortune into a big fortune.
And over the last 5 to 10 minutes or so here on our interview with Jim Mazur, the president of Progressive Handicapping, you, the Romo Sapien, can call him and ask him any specific question on what he does with Progressive Handicapping. The number is 609-807-2492, fielding any calls. If anyone wants to call in, 609-807-2492. Guys, I'm on the ProGHandicap.com website right now, and it is super easy. I got to the order section in like 10 seconds, so Jim, I'm going to have you give the number again before you get out of here, too. But I hope that some Romo Sapiens show up, and I hope that some Romo Sapiens put some money on your favorites and some other things that you're talking about here, because I'm super excited now, because I think, and as we exchanged emails getting ready for the show today, we realized big time that I'm the novice guy in this field. But it has been a lot of fun learning and browsing your website and just kind of getting an idea of how you present the information. And I like it because it's black and white. And I think that's probably what numbers is, right? It's black and white. This is the percentage because of this reasoning, your choice to put the money down. And I feel like you guys make it really easy for people like myself or people that might be considered, quote unquote, experts to understand and feel confident in what they're doing.
Yep, that's our goal, and we hope that we can do it. Now, one of the things that we can, try to do is, and it'll be a little bit of a break between now and then, but when the springtime comes, we can do a little bit of call in and everything, and have a scheduled show, leading up to the Kentucky Derby and in between for the Preakness. So, we can get Progressive Handicapping to sponsor those shows, and open it up for our customer base, and hopefully we'll get some calls. I don't know if we're getting any calls today, but I sent it out there, and I don't know if it's the middle of the day, but I think if I keep at it and keep plugging with the phone number and everything through the next few months, we'll get a listenership that will call in when we have a scheduled show. Do you know
how I know you and my father are best friends? Because I'm sitting with him before the show or doing a little pre-show write-up, and he says, I think you should get Jim on right before, a week or two prior to the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness, and you guys can do a consistent show and he can sponsor it. Exact same words. So
yep, absolutely.
The main sponsor of the show is down for Progressive Handicapping to join in on the Rome show. It's a plethora, Jim. It's for everybody. Listen, I got a few personal questions for you though. Okay? Because I'm so curious about what you do. It's so super interesting to me, and I'm on the heels of doing very poorly in a statistics class. So you're probably teaching me more than my professor did over the last, 8 weeks. I want you to understand that. But I was curious, okay, because in the sport of baseball, coaches talk often about, following your gut and listening to your gut. And if you're going to make a decision on the roster, think about what your gut says. Has there ever been a point in time in your career when you run the data analysis, you look at the information, you look at the numbers, and then you say, man, my gut is telling me I should tell the people the exact opposite of this, and you did it? Or have you just always gone with the numbers?
Oh, no. No. There are plenty of times when you have to look at some other things and go against the numbers. We call it almost sorcery, on certain things that we call no-brainers.
Okay.
And a no-brainer is an interesting concept. And let me give you an example of a no-brainer. You have a trainer that is running two horses in the same race. Now, in the old days, they would have to run together, so you would bet the number and you would get both of them. But the way horse racing is now, they let them run as separate betting entries. So now you have the same trainer, perhaps with two different owners, running two horses. And I don't even have a stat on it, but the rule of thumb is you always take the one at the longer odds, because there's that piece of chicanery, that says, something's up. One of them's going to set up the other one, and they're going to try to cash a ticket, so take the one with the longer odds.
Right.
And I can't tell you how many tickets that we've cashed on that, using just that simple no-brainer kind of situation. Now, there's a trainer at Saratoga. The guy invariably wins, maybe 6-7%. Really low percentage. But this guy, when I'm not paying attention to him, it's unbelievable that he'll pull over a $50 winner all the time. And the name is like legend. His name is Roy Lehrman. Everybody in my customer base that plays Saratoga, they wait for the guy. And then they call me and say, make sure you're out of town or something and don't bet this guy.
That's great.
And let him win, So the answer to your question is, it's not all cut and dry where you just go with that percentage. You do have to use that gut. And it's interesting because one of my favorite movies, and I'm sure it's one of yours because you're a baseball guy, is Moneyball.
Oh, yeah.
And I just watched it again last week, and that scene where he's in there with the scouts and and he's saying, we're going with this. This is my gut. I'm telling you, this guy over here from Yale, we're going to get guys that can get on base. And, and everybody's just scoffing at him. They're smoking their cigars and, because it was a change. And the guy, Bill James, actually started all this stuff with the statistics in horse racing. He was writing these little profiles. So it's a very, very fun business in that it is statistically driven, but you still got to use your head and you got to make decisions.
Yeah, and I'm sure you see other sports using the statistics in your realm all the time, and almost probably sometimes you say to yourself, I could almost see these sports using what I use in horse racing more to help them out.
Absolutely. With the advent of, legalized sports betting, and I'm a little, I'm getting near the end of my career, but if I was younger, and I know this is probably already out there, I would be keeping statistical databases on, how teams do at home, how they go against the spread, this and that. I'm sure it's out there, and I'm sure you can buy it to make your wagers, on Sunday afternoon, when you're playing football. When you're betting on football. And so there's a application for what I do in horse racing to pretty much any sport. And the betting is going to become really, really huge. You're seeing it already in New Jersey at Monmouth. And some of these other states are really going to move forward. New Jersey had a head start on everybody, so that's why they're out there. And the funny thing is, Andrew, is that I can't even think of 3 or 4 times where I've ever bet a sports event. Never. I just don't do it.
Really?
If it doesn't have 4 legs, I'm not interested.
No, listen, I understand it. Hey, in our profession, they would call that staying in your lane. So I completely understand
That's
that.
right.
Staying in your lane. So, Rube, I saw on the screen that we had a phone caller. Is that true? I do believe.